Hey guys, what's up? Wagwan. So, I'm just there and I scroll through my news feed on Facebook and me run into a video. A young lady, I give her a story with how them treat her in a JDF as if to say she's a mad person, send her go Bellevue and a bag of things. Yes, people. So people, please may I ask you to remember to like, share, subscribe to my channel. Please comment and yeah people, big up my channel. Yeah. So right now we just I gonna get straight into the video. Make una really hear wagwan in the JDF system at Jamaica. Yeah. And when I say people, the treatment here where she says she gets it really harsh because she just have a child and all of that. So when you listen and tell me what you think about that video here.
So a lot of you guys want to know what happened. I've been having a lot of issues with JDF from when I was in training. The medical part of, well, the medical part was just crap. They don't know what they're doing, and the worst, they don't know how to treat depression. Because they diagnosed me with depression, and they had me confined for 2.5 months. And after the confinement ended, they overdosed me, gave me pills to take, and when I took them as they were prescribed, they accused me of committing suicide. And it was all over JDF. I couldn't walk in peace. People just kept on coming to me saying that why persons were asking why I tried to kill myself, and it was just getting too much. I tried to report the doctors, it didn't go anywhere until I decided I was gonna take it up the chain and report it to the chief of defense staff. Same thing, a lot of pushback. It wasn't going anywhere really. And I saw him at an annual men's dinner and I told him what was happening, and he said I should send it straight to him. When it reached his office, he was on leave, and the acting CDS sent back my complaint. And the best thing that they could do, my commanding officer could do, was charge me for breaking chain of command. At the time, I was pregnant, so they didn't do anything. Not that they couldn't. It wasn't a case where they did actions while I was pregnant, because there are so many punishments that they could have meted out to me based on the charge. But I just know that they had something planned, because they didn't do anything about it when I was pregnant. And when I was on maternity leave, I got a call that I had an interview. They asked about why I sent off my redress knowing that there's a chain. And I told them that the CDS told me to send it directly to him. After the maternity leave ended, I spent a day at work and I was sent. I went on an interview. They told me that I would be spending 7 days in prison. I was shocked. I couldn't believe. So don't think that because it is JDF prison, it is special. It is just like prison out on the road or anywhere else. I was the only female in prison at the time. I only had a separate room for myself. The shower area was different, but I had to eat with the other males and everything else, because I just had baby and it was like a C-section. I didn't do any cleanup, because just as we have persons in prison that do farming and whatever, the persons in military prison, they have to clean up every cleaning or every little fatigue that needs to be done in the camp is the prisoners do it. But I was excused because I just had baby via C-section. But the worst part about it was having to express milk to send to it. Before I was sent to prison though, I had to see JDF doctor, the same doctor that I made a report against, for them to say whether I can go to jail or not if I'm medically fit to go to prison. They said I wasn't fit initially, but after speaking to my commanding officer, they sent me to jail. And when I was in prison, I know they realized that what they did was wrong, because every time the milk was to be sent to the baby, they came and they checked it like they're trying to protect themselves, and they signed some document to say that they check the milk before it is sent off, and to ensure that it is sent off frozen and all kind of stuff. It was hard for me being in prison. I mean, it's prison. Just had a baby. I miss her. I miss my son. I cried day in, day out. I hardly slept. I don't think I sleep. There was one night, one night I was dozing off and I felt my cell moving, and I thought it was an earthquake. I don't know what it was, but there's another guy that was in prison at the same time. He's a Christian, and I asked him if he felt the earthquake, and he said yes. And when we asked everybody else, nobody else felt it. We were the only two persons that felt the building move. And I didn't know what it meant. But being in jail. During my time in jail, they came to me and asked me if I wanted to report my commanding officer. And they would not put on my document to say that I was sent to prison, and no money would be taken from my pay, because once you go to prison, they take the amount of days pay from your pay. So you would lose that pay for the month. So 7 days in prison, I would lose 7 days pay. And when they came to me and said if I wanted to report him and I wouldn't lose my money and this would go to America, I told them no. Because they were pressing me to do it, and it sounded so urgent. I told them no, I didn't want to do it. Because it was just so suspicious. It was very suspicious. I didn't do it. I didn't do it at all. But I know they were in big trouble. That's the reason why they were pressing it so much. When I got out of jail, things got worse. Everybody was over the place. I made history in JDF, the first female ever to express breast milk in prison. Made history. So everybody was all over the place. The doctors hated me. If I go there and say I'm not feeling well, they send me to hospital, writing letter, I'm depressed, I have suicidal ideation. Go to hospital, was restrained in my uniform, like literally strapped down, and I was so calm. Most of the time I was so calm. All the time I'm so calm, because I know JDF, all they want me to do is to just make one loud noise, and that's more reason for them to say that I am sick. I was depressed, but I was not mad, and they treated me like a mad person. I got medication from UE, and I was sent back to JDF, and I was sitting down, and the doctor just come to me and say, you're going to Bellevue. And I was so shocked, I didn't even answer, I didn't even say anything. And when I went to Bellevue, I explained to them, and I told the doctors there that they're just punishing me. I don't need to be admitted to Bellevue. Bellevue is some mad people. Well, the doctor said I have to be admitted based on JDF's recommendation. What were the recommendation? Nobody could tell me. I spent 7 days in Bellevue, and it was hell, because trust me, I always hear people talk about Bellevue. I never knew I would spend 7 days in Bellevue. The the nurses they're awesome. The nurses were great, the doctors were great, but the patients, wow, some of them they're really really crazy, and it was hard for me because I almost got into altercation with them, and the nurses had to talk to me because they're saying they have worse mental issues than me, so I have to careful around them, and when they are doing their nonsense to just avoid them, and that's what I had to do. I had to just avoid them. So after spending 7 days in prison, 2 weeks after, I spent 7 days in Bellevue. 7 days in Bellevue. And then after leaving Bellevue, I went to UA, and the doctor said that I needed to be on leave because I am not fit for work. And instead of putting me on sick leave, the doctor sent me back to work. They sent me back. I had to go on interview. I had to go on interview to get 7 days, 14 days privilege leave. And even before going back to work after the privilege leave, the psychiatrist said I still wasn't fit for work after having gone through so many things. And I went back with the recommendation from the doctor at UA, JDF doctor, sent me back to work still. And by this time, they wanted me to get crazy, and I was getting crazy because I felt like I was going to kill everybody. And when I spoke to them about that, they sent me to UA again. I was restrained, and the doctors at UA said they're not sending me back to JDF in that condition because they are not doing what the recommendation said. They are not giving me the time. I'm going to put the link in my bio for the story on the Gleaner because I was featured in the Gleaner, because up to the date of my discharge, the CDS still hadn't received my complaint about the doctor, so I had to go public so that he could find out what was happening. So I'm supposed to be paid off for the remainder of my contract. So I have 4 years and 3 months remaining on my contract, and I have been discharged for 5 months now, and up to date I haven't heard from the JDF regarding my payoff. I need to be on medication. I have injuries from my training where I should be doing physio. I'm in pain most of the time, and no one has contacted me from the JDF. Nobody cares. They're just hoping that I commit suicide. That's all I can say.